Meanwhile, President Trump may soon expand his already sweeping use of presidential pardon powers to celebrate America's birthday. The Wall Street Journal reports White House officials are considering plans to issue 250 pardons to mark the country's milestone birthday. That's according to several people familiar with the matter who say that the president could make the announcement on Independence Day or on June 14th, which is both Flag Day and his birthday, by the way. Joining us now is Elizabeth Oyer. She was a U.S. pardon attorney until she was fired in March of last year. Elizabeth, thanks for being with us. These plans are apparently in the early stages, but let's just start with this number, 250. It's a large number. It's symbolic. America's 250th birthday. What's your initial reaction?
Well, it's very unfortunate that people are talking about this as a likely negative. The idea of granting pardons is supposed to be something that makes our justice system more fair. The founders put the pardon power in the Constitution to give the president the ability to grant mercy to people who have earned and deserve it. And there are many deserving people out there. There are certainly 250 people who are deserving of pardons. But Donald Trump is not granting pardons to people who deserve it. He's granting pardons to people who are able to pay for that privilege or leverage political connections to get pardons that are not based on merit. And that's why the idea of Trump granting another large batch of pardons is very concerning to many people. He has used the pardon power in unprecedented, corrupt ways that make our justice system much less fair, which is not what the founders of the Constitution had in mind when they entrusted the president with that power.
Any sense of who may be on that list?
Well, there is a huge number of people aggressively lobbying the president for pardons. The ones who have had success so far are largely wealthy billionaires who are able to make investments in Donald Trump's companies or his family's businesses, people who are able to make large political donations, or people who have MAGA ties or some political value to the president. There are lots of high-profile names of white-collar criminals who are seeking pardons, and it's unclear who might actually be on that list, but I think that we can expect that it's likely to be people with political and personal ties to the president and people in his inner circle.
Convicted criminals seem to be eager to jump on this bandwagon. The DOJ data shows a surge in clemency requests, more than 16,000 this year or last year. We know that high-profile convicts, including sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, Sean Diddy Combs, have publicly campaigned for pardons. What does that surge in those numbers signal to you? And what's the likelihood, in your view, given your experience, that we could see a pardon for those two individuals?
So the number of applications coming in reflects the fact that Trump has made it clear that the pardon store is open for business. He is offering pardons liberally, and that is why we're seeing so many applications during this period of time. And the applications that are going to the Justice Department don't necessarily even reflect the full universe of people applying for clemency. Many people are bypassing the traditional application route through the Justice Department and going straight to the White House, using well-connected lobbyists and lawyers to do that. As far as some of those high-profile names like Sean Combs and Ghislaine Maxwell, Donald Trump has refused to rule out the possibility of pardoning them. You would expect that if any president were asked, will you pardon a convicted sex trafficker of children? He would say absolutely not, because that is not an appropriate use of the pardon power. But Donald Trump has said time and time again, well, I could do it. I haven't decided whether to do it. I haven't thought about whether to do it. So the fact that he has not ruled that out, particularly as to Ghislaine Maxwell, is really stunning. But, we'll see whether he does or doesn't do that. I think it would be a very big political mistake, and people in his inner circle likely do not want him to do that. But if she is able to help him solve the Epstein files crisis by exonerating him, which would be false, since she really doesn't have any credibility, he may be willing to pardon her.
Legal experts say Trump's pardons and his administration's dismantling of the DOJ's public integrity section send the message that corruption won't be taken seriously. But, we got to mention that every president has had the power to issue pardons. As you mentioned at the top, it hasn't always been viewed as a bad thing. It's been viewed as an extension of the justice, the justice system here. How are Trump's actions different?
Trump has used the pardon power in a way that is totally untethered to the public interest. It's all about personal gain, financial gain, political gain, rewarding supporters and allies. That's not how the pardon power was intended to be used, and it's not how the Justice Department historically has advised the president to use the pardon power. But Donald Trump is really not listening to anyone in that traditional space, the career civil servants in the Justice Department who would ordinarily be recommending clemencies to the president have been sidelined. And unfortunately, the process has become completely corrupt in a way that is really delegitimizing the idea of pardons. There are thousands and thousands of applications piled up at the Justice Department, and some of them, many of them, are from individuals who have actually demonstrated through hard work and rehabilitation that they are deserving of a second chance through clemency. But those are not the types of people that are being given clemency by Donald Trump.